The morning of June the 6th, 1984 started like any other for the Stringfellow family on their farm in Greenville, Alabama. Greenville is the county seat of Butler County and has a population of around 7,600 in 1984, known as Camellia City after it petitioned for the camellia to become Alabama's state flower in 1959. Greenville may have seemed like an ideal quiet place to raise a family. Betty woke up early because she had to get to the Waffle Shop restaurant by 7 a.m. sharp for her start of the shift. After getting ready, she quietly left the house. She didn't want to wake her 12-year-old daughter Sherry, who was sleeping on the couch after giving up her bed to her stepdad's aunt, who was in town visiting for the week. Shortly after 9 a.m., Sherry noticed her stepdad Raymond was backing his red pickup truck down the driveway. She raced out of the house, shoes in her hand, asking if she could go with him into town. At around 9:30 a.m., the pair stopped at the First National Bank so Raymond could sign some papers. Sherry said she was thirsty, so Raymond gave his stepdaughter a dollar bill and told her to go buy herself a beverage at the Chevron gas station across the street. Witnesses saw Sherry walking across the parking lot by the General Telephone Building and Jernigan's furniture store on her way to the gas station. Sherry was last seen wearing a long-sleeve red plaid flannel shirt, light jeans, gray runners with Velcro fastenings, and a watch with a black band. 15 minutes later, Raymond was done at the bank and went out to his truck. He was surprised when Sherry wasn't there waiting for him. When 25 more minutes had passed by with no sign of Sherry, panic set in. Raymond called Betty at the Waffle House to see if Sherry had stopped by there for a visit. Betty said no, she hadn't seen her daughter since she was fast asleep on the couch that morning. Raymond checked the obvious places for his stepdaughter, like the Chevron gas station, but had no luck. He also asked around at the tractor shop and the feed store. Sherry's nickname was Little Farmer. For a reason, she loved everything to do with farming, including hanging out at those stores, but no one had seen Sherry. The young girl was reported missing at 11:46 a.m. Before long, a massive search effort was underway. Volunteers combed the city and surrounding areas. An aerial search was even conducted by Crenshaw Flying Service. Family, friends, and volunteers printed off countless missing persons posters and plastered them around the city and neighboring towns. Despite all of the efforts, Sherry remains missing. Sherry's family thinks it's unlikely that she ran away. Her mother, Betty, has always insisted her daughter was a happy and content child with no significant issues in her life. She said Sherry was close with them and had no reason to leave home. Sherry was excited about the plans she had made for the day that she disappeared. She was going to watch her favorite TV show and visit her grandmother. By all accounts, Sherry was the type of child who did what she was told, and she did not take any of her belongings with her when she headed into town. Even more, she has never once contacted her family in the decades since she's been missing. It is no surprise that Raymond, Sherry's stepdad, was the first person questioned by the police. He was the last person to see her. After all, Raymond cooperated with the authorities and answered all of their questions, but when they asked him to take a polygraph test, he refused. Regardless, the police have said he was never a suspect in the case. All of Sherry's relatives, including her biological father, were investigated by the police for possible involvement in her case. Both her father and her stepfather have been ruled out as suspects, and his wife, Betty, was positive Raymond did not harm his stepdaughter. She said he never got over the fact that Sherry was with him when she vanished. Just before Raymond died in April of 2003, he told his wife from his hospital bed, "Betty, I wish I could go get Sherry and bring her home to you, but I can't because I don't know where she is." Sherry was a fun-loving tomboy who enjoyed farming, being outside, and listening to her Kenny Rogers albums. She had an adventurous spirit and could not wait to trade in her moped for a three-wheeler on her 13th birthday. Sherry's loved ones have had to live decades without answers. Every day, her mom Betty has to face the horrible truth that her daughter is still missing, and her stepdad Raymond died without ever finding out what happened to Sherry. Somehow, though, Betty still manages to find some solace. She said, "Sherry was always a happy little girl, and that's what I remember the most, even in my dreams." Betty has fought hard to keep the memory of her daughter alive. She opened Enterprise Restaurant on June the 6th, 2010, the 26th anniversary of Sherry's disappearance. The sign on the street said the restaurant was opened in honor and memory of Sherry Lynn Marler. Betty explained, "We want to honor her memory, but we also want to heighten people's awareness of the reality of children missing every day in this country." To that end, Betty joined the Team Hope, help offering parents empowerment, a program created by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to train the family members of missing or sexually exploited children so that they can help others in their situation. Betty said that at Team Hope, we are members of a club that no one wants to belong to. "I volunteer in the hope that no one else has to ever go through what our family has been through," she says. Sherry just vanished into thin air. No one seems to know where she is. Sherry Marler is a white female and was born on August the 18th, 1971 in Greenville, Alabama. She is 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed approximately 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She had 2 distinguishing marks. One was a 2-inch scar on her abdomen and the other is a 1-inch scar on her back near her shoulder. Sherry's teeth consisted of a mixture of baby and primary teeth at the time of her 1984 disappearance. She had 2 fillings in her teeth, and Sherry's hair was long at the time of her disappearance. She may use the nickname Little Farmer. If you have any information about Sherry's disappearance, please contact the Greenville Police Department at 334-382-7461 or the contact information for the Center for Missing and Exploited Children is 1-800-843-5678.